that failure to intervene in time has now left people struggling financially. He's also criticised the Minister for the Environment, Eamon Ryan, for not stepping in early enough to stop electricity and gas companies hiking their prices before an EU proposal to lower VAT on fuels passed. Deputy Pringle says he'll be bringing the matter to the Dáil when it reopens again next week. He also thinks the government could have been a lot more proactive regarding the matter.
I think the government could have been a lot more proactive. Obviously, the price of fuel is going to increase because of external factors that the government couldn't control. But the government was aware of this, and they could have been talking to the oil companies, the gas companies, and say, "Look, hold off your increases. We get this decision from the EU to reduce the VAT." And they talk about that they didn't have time to do this. They announced €100 first of all on the fuel energy costs back in October. And then it became €200 as the crisis deepened. And they said that they didn't have time to actually tailor it to make it target the people that really need it. But surely in those 5 or 6 months they could have devised a scheme that could have came up with that. Rather than we see now people who own multiple holiday homes, people who are multimillionaires, will benefit to the tune of €200 off every ESB bill that they have.
The number of people with COVID-19 being treated in Irish hospitals has increased again to the highest level in over a year. The Department of Health has confirmed 1,127 cases in the hospital system today. That's the highest level since February of last year. 52 patients are being treated in intensive care for the virus, an increase of 4 since yesterday. Ukraine's president has again urged his Russian counterpart to hold direct talks with him to stop his invasion. Volodymyr Zelensky says Kremlin forces are blockading his country's largest cities to create a humanitarian catastrophe, with the aim of persuading citizens to cooperate with them. Rescue workers are continuing to sift through the rubble of a theatre that was hit in the besieged port city of Mariupol. President Volodymyr Zelensky said it was not clear how many people are still trapped following the attack on the theatre.
We have also rescued 35,000 people from Mariupol. We continue rescue work at the sites of the blown-up theatre. The occupiers blew it up, even though people were hiding there. We have in total saved 130 people, but more people are still under the rubble.
The Taoiseach is coming under pressure to support a public inquiry into nursing home deaths during the pandemic. Many families who lost loved ones in nursing homes say they're still looking for answers, almost 2 years on from the first wave of COVID-19 here. The calls from the campaign group Care Champions come ahead of a national ceremony of remembrance and reflection tomorrow. Its chairperson Majella Beattie says it's not about a witch hunt, and that an inquiry will be about getting answers and correcting past mistakes.
We need to know the facts. Families cannot move forward until they know what happened. Not only does the Taoiseach need to sit down and listen to us and ensure that there is an inquiry into what has happened, we need to drive reform.
And finally, Census 2022 takes place in just over 2 weeks' time. The national survey on Sunday the 3rd of April is the first in 6 years, after last year's census was cancelled due to the pandemic. Vital information gathered by the Central Statistics Office will be used for the planning of public policy and services in future. Eileen Murphy from the Census Office explains how this one will be a bit different.
For the first time, we have a time capsule on the form this time, which is a voluntary section at the back where you can write whatever you want, your message to the future for future generations in 21, 22, telling them whatever you want, what life is like in Ireland today, sharing a secret family recipe, etc.
And now the weather, dry and sunny this afternoon. It'll also be quite breezy and fresh and gusty southeast winds, with highest temperatures of 13 to 16 degrees today. That's all from the news desk for now. We'll have the latest news headlines again for you coming up at 1 o'clock, but until then, good afternoon.
All children aged 5 and over are being offered a COVID-19 vaccine. Their vaccine will help to protect them, and the rest of the family too. The advice from the World Health Organization is that the COVID-19 vaccine is safe for children this age. So if you have questions about their COVID-19 vaccine, we have answers you can trust. For information and to book an appointment for your child, visit hsc.ie. From the HSC.
Broadcasting throughout the Northwest and across the world online, this is Highland Radio. Your voice, your station.
Hello and a very good Saturday afternoon. You're very welcome along to a very special programme. I'm fighting the urge to call it the 9 till noon show, but it is not. We are broadcasting live from Islington Council as part of a month-long celebration of Irish heritage. We've got a load of guests for you this afternoon. Hopefully you'll stay and enjoy the programme. If you're listening on radio, if you want to watch the programme as well, you can hop online to highlandradio.com via our website. We're streaming it there. You'll see a link. Or if you prefer, you can go on our Facebook page, you know that Facebook page, or YouTube, Highland Radio Ireland. But as I say, we're here hopefully to keep you entertained between now and 2, giving you a sense of what's happening over here in Islington. In London, we arrived yesterday morning and I had an opportunity to go around and see all the usual sites, and it was a wonderful experience. And later on in the programme, by the way, after 1 o'clock, of course, there's a big match. We're going to be keeping you up to date in relation to that. But the reason why we are here, we're here as the guests of Councillor Troy Gallagher, who is the Mayor of Islington, and he joins us in studio now. It is great, or in studio, I should say. We join you in your studio, I suppose. Thanks for having us, and it's great to be here.
Oh, thanks so
if I could just ask you to lean forward into the mic a little bit for me.
Thanks so much, Greg. It's absolutely fantastic that you are here.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful that how many people from Donegal have all come together to help put on this programme and support the Irish.
And it's only, you know, we spoke last week on Zoom, and it was great to have you on, right? But it's only when you're here that you really get a sense of how big this event is, this series of events is. So tell us what you wanted to achieve, and you are achieving it.
I wanted to achieve a celebration of 100 years, the contribution the Irish have made. And Greg, it's the people that came over here in the 20s, 30s, who had nothing but the clothes they were wearing and the suitcase they were carrying, came with just hopes and dreams for a better life and future. And through all the struggles and hardship over here, because it wasn't easy at the time, there was quite a lot of racism towards the Irish, they built their lives, their families, they got jobs, they helped build Britain, build the roads, build all the housing, took into development, and actually changed Britain and brought with them a sense of their homeland, culture and heritage. And they shaped this borough, they shaped London and all the United Kingdom over the 100 years. So I wanted to celebrate that fact. I wanted to also say thank you to those, to all our forefathers and every Irish immigrant that comes over here and contributes to this day. And I also just wanted to be able to say, utilise it as part of my mayoral theme, which is very new tomorrow, how the role of the Irish immigrant has changed from the nurse and navvy to people like ourselves now, people involved in politics, media, finance, and taking the new generation forward.
And in relation to politics, because we learned last week, remarkably, for all of our contributions here, you are the first Irish person to hold this position.
I am indeed, and what a great, even greater honour that is. I have to say, I was taken aback when I was told I would be the first Irish-born mayor. All previous occupants before had either been of Irish background but were born in Britain. Incidentally, one of the previous mayors, John Burke, he was born in Islington, but his mother came from Creasla.
Okay.
Yeah. So on inauguration day, the grand nieces and nephews sent wonderful messages to say how proud they were for the first Irish-born mayor, and that's something special.
It truly is, and it's actually a beautiful part of the world here, isn't it?
That's great.
I've never been here before, and I must say the whole city seems really clean and modern, and a lot of work seems to be going right across London. Yeah,
there is, and I think there's a sense of people taking pride in how Islington looks. Now, Islington can be quite deceiving because still, while there's a lot of poverty within the area. You can stand side by side. One side of the street you can see the houses, the Victorian terraced houses, Georgian houses, street properties, and you can see across the road different council estates.
Yeah.
And I think it's a testament towards the contribution and towards tackling fairness and inclusion, and ensuring that the cleanliness, as you rightly say, people take pride in it, and that the council actually delivers to show the best of Islington and how we actually make those changes that are needed.
This is a two-way street, obviously, because what's happening is as you've been outlining, the importance of this month and the contribution here. But there's a lot of other stuff going on as well, of course. Donegal County Council, the IDA, having meetings. I think that meeting at breakfast yesterday. And on the face of it, these things don't. You can't in the immediate get a sense of the importance of them, but over time, they can start reaping rewards, and that's what the hope is as well. So it's much more than celebrating everything you've mentioned. It's looking to the future as well. It's
very much looking towards the future. We had the wonderful business breakfast with Donegal County Council yesterday, and that was attended by the Lord Mayor of the City of London and key people, business leaders across London and the United Kingdom. And the reason I wanted that to happen was to be able to utilise the networks that we have to build better relationships, strengthen the relationships between Donegal and London, and how to promote that.
And it has to feel like a two-way street, doesn't it? You can't look. And I think I sound like I'm name dropping, but I'm not. But I interviewed our president there not so long ago, a couple of years ago, and he says we can't keep going to the diaspora looking for them to. But it's not like that. It's about having a mutually beneficial arrangement.
You're absolutely right. You've hit the nail on the head. When I became mayor, one of the things that I said was, all too often people look at the Irish immigrant and think, actually, Patrick's Day, Christmas, that's it, checklist done. But I've always felt that there's a greater need to strengthen the relationship between Ireland and the UK. But most people look at a national level. There's nothing that has ever been done between county councils and borough councils working together to look at lessons learned, and particularly now post-pandemic, there's a huge opportunity to say, actually, why, Greg, can I not go back to Ranafast, have a job there, still be London based, on the salary I am, and actually and be able to go across 2 or 3 times a month. And I think utilising the agile working and the technology that we've got, we can break down the old silos of ways of doing things and strengthen that relationship.
Talk to me about what's happening tonight then, the ball that's happening tonight.
So the Gala Ball is happening tonight. The theme is for the return to the Galtimore, and that is to pay tribute to the previous show bands. For your listeners, some who have spent time in Islington, they will remember that just up the road, the Gresham was on Holloway Road. That was one of the big halls, the National, the Forum, and of course the main one was the Galtimore. So all the elderly.
This is the Cricklewood Galtimore.
This is the Cricklewood Galtimore, and this program.
Are we going to get a squeezy box version this evening? I wonder.
You've got the Conquerors.
Oh,
so you have,
fantastic.
Okay.
They
are. And
there's a charitable element to tonight as well, isn't there?
It is.
Okay, I might ask Tessa just to sit and join us here as you continue talking about the ball, if that's okay.
So the ball is as a reception. It starts at 6 to 7. Then a 4-course meal. Then we have a very surprise guest that is going to join us, and the Conquerors are starting off at 9:30 to 11:30. There's a few surprises throughout the night that all pay tribute to the Irish immigrants, their success stories.
And there's an auction tonight as well, isn't there?
There's a silent auction. There is some wonderful.
What is a silent auction?
So you have.
I just don't bid too high on the quiet.
You have the photographs of all the prizes,
Brilliant.
and you use the envelope to put in your bids for that.
And I have one over my right shoulder here. We can't really demonstrate it here. Actually, do you know what? If for those watching, maybe you might lift it up, Kevin, so people can see this here, because this is quite an impressive piece of equipment. Oh, can that be moved? It's very valuable, but be really careful.
I just moved off the
Yeah, okay. So we're going to have that's a edge it over here. This is a very important little piece of art here, I think, or potentially has. That's one of. Is that up for auction this evening as well?
Yes, indeed.
Okay, tell us about the painter or the artist here.
The artist is Mason Storm, who is the equivalent of the new Banksy, and he specifically did that painting on oil canvas and signed specifically for the Mayor's charity for this tonight. And it was delivered last week.
Careful with that, please. Wait till you hear the valuation.
He has, and you can see the signature in the back. He said that would normally sell at auction for between 8 to 10 grand. For charity, you should be looking between 15 and 20.
And there's only one direction the value of that is going.
That's correct.
And that's in an upward fashion. Okay, so talk to me about your three. We have Tessa Havers Strong. You'll talk to me about your charity, please, if you don't mind.
Good afternoon.
Oh, 1 second, sorry, that's my fault. Go ahead, yes?
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for inviting me to speak today.
It's great to have you with us.
My name's Tessa Haverstrong. I'm the director of Forum Plus. We're a charity that works across Islington and Camden We're an LGBT organisation, and we've been going since 2002, so this year is our 20th birthday, and we're very privileged to have been chosen as one of the Mayor's charities. And we've got various roles that we do. We support victims of homophobic, biphobic and transphobic hate crime. That was initially the work that we set out to do back in 2002. But since then we've grown to produce cultural events across the boroughs, things like LGBT History Month. We put the largest programme of events on in the country, and we have art exhibitions, we have monthly support groups, and we have book clubs and film clubs, and with the aims of those being to prevent social isolation and prevent loneliness as well. And then other aspects that we do, we work in schools, we do LGBT awareness days, and we also offer training advice to local businesses and also with the police. And
because it's very important, isn't it, to be there to support the victims of these types of crimes. But obviously we want to be in a space where we don't have victims of these crimes as well, isn't it?
Yes, and I would say the news overall is very good. If you look at compared to, say, 20 years ago, the levels of homophobia back then were a lot higher than they are today. But sadly, there are still incidents where people experience homophobic abuse. Violence is quite rare these days, physical violence, but quite often we see a lot of chronic antisocial behaviour, which involves homophobia, and that's something we're working hard to reduce.
And it's lovely, I imagine, to get the endorsement of someone in such a position of power as our mayor here.
Very, very proud, and we're so pleased to be part of it, and it will. The funding that comes in through that will go a long way to supporting the LGBT communities and the work that we do.
Difficult to select charities. I mean, obviously, because they're all worthy, effectively, absolutely. And you would love to be able to say, right, I could use this time or this platform to support all. So how did you go about choosing your three charities?
I wanted to choose charities that had specific resonance with me.
Yes.
And it was very, very hard, because you're getting lobbied left, right and centre once they know that you're becoming the mayor. I always wanted to choose the charities to tackle mental health, and particularly male suicide.
Yes.
And LGBT. Clearly I'm LGBT myself, and the homophobia that Tessa has talked about, I had experienced that in my past, as has many other Irish people who came across, and I specifically chose Forum Plus because of a number of the elderly Irish people who said of what they went through when they came across.
Now, Dan Bracken hopefully is going to join us here now as well. We're having to wing this a little bit, Dan, because you were supposed to be with us here in the Mayor's Parlour. I hope you can hear me, and I hope I can hear you. Are you there, Dan?
Yeah, I am. Hi. It's good to be here, even online.
Yeah, okay. Well, in sporting parlours in Ireland, this is called a Hail Mary, and it worked, so this is good. I'm not sure either Tessa or America can hear you, but we can, and the listeners can, okay? So I wanted you to talk to us, Dan, a little bit about James's Place.
Yeah, so James's Place is for a therapeutic centre for men in suicidal crisis. And we have a centre in Liverpool, we have a centre it's just set up in London, so we've been setting up over the last year. We work, there's a problem for men in suicidal crisis. Men are 3 times more likely to die by suicide than women, and it's the leading cause of death for men over the age of under the age of 50. So it's one of those real issues that there's got to be kind of solutions to. What we do at James's Place is we've designed a centre and an intervention that makes it easy for men to access therapy at the time of crisis. We have trained therapists who come to our so we have trained therapists who welcome the men to the centre. We have an incredibly welcoming atmosphere. and put a great deal of investment into the physical space, so that when a man comes into a James's Place centre,
yes,
they feel very welcomed and respected. We've worked with over 100 men in London, and that's been helped massively by the work of the Mayor of Islington and promoting our charity and our setting up in London.
And it's important, isn't it? And I put the same point to another guest, Tessa, who we have here as well. It's good for it. It must be very important for a charity to get that sort of backing from a person in Troy's position.
Absolutely. And I mean, it's meant a great deal for us coming into London as a completely new centre to then be known. So we get referrals, and we have got referrals through Islington Services because of the work that the Mayor of Islington has done. Yeah.
All right, Dan, listen, lovely to speak to you. I wish I'd been able to meet you in person, but maybe another time. Thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Real pleasure. Thank you.
All right, take care. This afternoon now, isn't it? Okay, thank you very much indeed. That was Dan Bracken from James's Place. Tessa, anything you want to add just before we wrap this segment up?
I'll just quickly mention it's our 20th birthday this year, and so we're going to be putting on lots of celebrations throughout the coming months. And so do keep an eye out on our website, forumplus.org.uk, and you can also subscribe to our mailing list from there as well if you like.
And do you get a sense of real progress over the last 20 years? A long way to go, of course, but I think often we have these conversations and we never really talk about that things are improving or things are changing, because we never want to sort of, I suppose, not give the importance to what people might be going through as well. But if we are improving, I think we have to recognise that too, don't we?
Yes, we're definitely. There's a huge shift of support now towards the LGBT communities. And I would say that, yes, that there's lots of work to be done, but young people today really do understand about acceptance and understanding of other people.
Lovely. Listen, thank you so much. It's been great having you in with us. You stay where you are, Troy. You are the special person. Not just today, but always, I hear. Okay. We'll be speaking more. We've got loads of guests, as I mentioned, coming up for the programme. Stay right where you are. We've an awful lot more to talk about. But we're going to take a short break, and we have another guest from one of the Mayor's chosen charities, and so much more besides coming up on the programme in just about a couple of moments.
Do Gudo Station.
Nutrius Milk Replacer range, which includes NutriStart and NutriStart Plus, offers the best start to your calves this spring season. With 23% and 25% crude proteins, ideal for calf to beef and heifer rearing systems. Give your calves the best possible start. Available at your local Homeland store. Visit nutrius.ie for full nutritional information.
Inflation-busting offers from Lidl help make your money go further. With products from across our incredible range, you could make your family a week's worth of delicious, nutritious meals and round it all off with a big Irish Sunday roast. That's a whole week's shop for a family of 4 for less than €76. Follow Lidl's Inflation Busting Challenge online at #Lidl Inflation Busters for further savings tips and offers. And save even more money in store with the Lidl Plus app. Inflation Busters at Lidl. More for you. Products shopped February 15th. See Lidl.ie for details.
Are you thinking of selling your home? At Robinson Estate Agents, we currently have clients waiting to buy properties due to relocation to Donegal. Call for a free valuation and find out more about the benefits of using an estate agent with over 25 years experience. You can also avail of our free professional marketing campaign. Let Robinson Estate Agents maximise your sale value today. For more information, call our offices in Letterkenny and Dunfanaghy on 07491 20990. Robinson Estate Agents. Working for you.
Okay, you are very welcome back to the programme, broadcasting live, would you believe it, from the Islington Council offices. We're in the Mayor's Parlour. It's a beautiful surrounding. It's a beautiful building. It's relatively, it's younger, this building, than I would have thought, Troy.
Yeah, 1901 it was built.
Okay, it just feels, you think it could be 18th or something, but
yeah.
I suppose London was only growing out.
Yeah,
it?
exactly.
Is it as simple as that?
It was. And if you wonder why it's so, it looks so much towards the left, they didn't run out of funds to complete the other side of it.
Okay, I don't know what to say about that. The third Mayor's charity is ICAP. Its CEO is Catherine Hennessy. Catherine, thank you so much for joining us.
You're very welcome, Greg.
Can you talk to us a little bit about the work that your charity does?
Okay, so ICAP offers counselling and psychotherapy to the Irish community in Britain, and your listeners will be aware there's few families in Ireland who don't have somebody living abroad, and we're providing counselling and therapy for the Irish community. We're doing that at our London Centre in Finsbury Park, which is about a mile from here, in Birmingham, and then in other locations around the country. And the people we see, 97% of them were born on the island of Ireland. They range in age between about 22 and about 88. And we also see then people of the second generation, so people who were born here to Irish parents who perhaps emigrated in the 50s or 60s.
Yeah, okay. How many people would you work with?
Well, each week we'd see about 200 people.
As many as that?
Yeah,
Wow,
across all our services. And people come to us for a variety of reasons. Sometimes people left for economic reasons to come here and make a better life for themselves, but some people also left because of difficult circumstances in their childhood in Ireland.
Well, and we know it's history, but it's not history, it's current, it's our living history, really, a lot of what we're talking about, if I'm reading correctly the type of things that you're talking about.
Indeed, because we're talking both about those who might have lived in institutions, but also those who might have suffered abuse in their homes or in families. And so London's always been an easy place to escape to if you've had the price of the fare.
Exactly, but people often would say, well, if it's like that, we'll just get away, just get out. But it's when you do, especially if you go to a strange country, in inverted commas, the realities hit very, very quickly that we have structures and stuff around us, even if some of it's problematic. And then when that's not there, that's when you'll find yourself going, well, thank God there's ICAP there.
Yeah, and I mean, ICAP's just one of a number of charities working with the Irish community here, places like the London Irish Centre and a host of other organisations across the country. I suppose our particular focus is on counselling, and we're very grateful to the Mayor to have chosen us as one of his charities for this year. Of course, our links with Donegal are very long-standing. Our founder, Teresa Gallagher, was born and brought up in Letterkenny, and just outside Letterkenny, and she was committed to providing this service, which was quite unique at the time. It was founded 25 years ago in 1996.
And do you find that those who engage with it's often on a long-term basis?
Sometimes it can be. Sometimes it can be more short-term. During the pandemic, we set up a telephone helpline, so that might be someone who was just struggling during the pandemic.
Isolation or whatever.
I mean, isolation's a big issue generally for the older Irish population, and obviously that was exacerbated during the pandemic because people weren't able to go to the day centres or social activities that they would normally have taken part in. So yes, or it can be longer. If somebody's had a very difficult upbringing, it might take quite some time longer.
But you have that flexibility.
We have that flexibility, and we can work with people. And a lot of our therapists are themselves Irish, either born there, or so they can recognise the cultural needs of the people who come to see us.
Okay, and Troy, again, it's you can see the connection and the intertwining of the charities you've selected.
Yeah, very much so. Between mental health, isolation, and loneliness, and homophobia, I think it's very much what many Irish immigrants have experienced over the years. And when I first came to Islington, I remember speaking to an elderly person whose family all moved away. His wife had died, and said, "All I have is one or two friends. I've just realised for the first time in my life I'm lonely. I don't know what to do. I've nowhere to go to." And that was one of the first pieces of casework I took on.
Yeah. And we're familiar with that, of course, in Donegal with the rural isolation. And I think, what happened during the lockdowns is people in towns and villages all of a sudden got what rural isolation was.
Absolutely.
And it was like, okay, so this is what they've been talking about on the radio or whatever. Not everyone, a lot of people are very empathetic and understand, but I think really people started to realise that very quickly you can become the isolated no matter what, your environment.
Yeah, and how quickly things spiral.
Okay, so as well as we've talked about a fantastic night of entertainment and crack and short speeches.
Very short
speeches. I'm only joking. There's the silent auction. Yeah. Okay, what other stuff is up for grabs? Because you've got great support from home as well as your home here and your home at home.
Yeah, indeed. Oh yeah, I mean, I still call Letterkenny Donegal home, and that never leaves you. Even to this day, going back to England. travelling over the Port Bridge, I still get a pain in my heart. I do get that gut-wrenching feeling, even now after all these years. But the other prizes are up tonight. Glen Eagles in Killarney have given 4-night stay.
Yeah.
A 4-night stay in that beautiful hotel, private trip to Mcbride Park and the Ring of Kerry, plus two tickets to a Daniel O'Donnell concert. Arsenal have given a signed jersey of all the current team.
Nice one.
There's Arsenal tickets. There's Tottenham Hotspur tickets. There's Man United tickets, and there's Liverpool tickets.
Oh, you covered everything.
Yeah,
yeah. All right, clever. I like it. So we'll see how generous people are this evening. Then.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've never done this before. So I'm opening and winging a prayer. But apparently I just told this great. You put your bid in an envelope and you put it beside the photograph of what you're bidding for, and the highest bidder is announced then at the end of the night.
All right, and we're hearing and understanding for those. I mean, obviously, the amount of people going to it, we're not all going to be listening to this, but it just gives a sense of the importance of the work that it will be supporting as well. It's been lovely meeting you, Catherine.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed, and thank you again, Troy. You're not going anywhere, are you? You're going to hang around. You can dip in and out with us if that's okay. All right, it is a programme that I haven't named. Maybe Donald can come up with a name. 12 to 2, Donald, I think we'd get away with that one. Donald's helping us back at base. But what it is it's a special broadcast, and it's lovely to be a Donegal station being part of this as well, because this is all about and lots of people listen to it. You're a regular listener, Troy, aren't you?
Oh yeah, every day.
Over here as well. So it's nice to hear that too, that we're reaching out to people over here as well. Loads more guests to come. Stay where you are.
Your voice, your station.
Highland Radio.
Make the most of your bank holiday weekend with inflation-busting offers at Lidl. There's Tato 16 packs for only $3.99. Coca-Cola range 10 and 12 can packs just $6.99 each. And a 700ml bottle of Baileys was €20, now an unbelievable €10. Inflation-busting offers at Lidl. More for you. Enjoy alcohol responsibly.
For a great early season lawnmower deal, visit Gortley Sales and Hire, exclusive stockists of Stiga in the Northwest. Mowers, trimmers and hedge trimmers. Full trade-in service available at Gortley Sales and Hire, Gortley, Letterkenny. Call 9126276.
Visit Derry and experience a world of difference just over the border. See the historic walls, the waterfront and the famous chill-off licences at Da Vinci, White House, Culmore, Hatmore and Shantallow, which, for some reason, have suddenly become the #1 attraction. So visit Derry and leave with more than just memories. Please drink responsibly. See drinkaware.ie.
The Groom's Room at Evolve Clothing in the Letterkenny Retail Park has the best value and selection in suiting for your wedding day.
iMotors are open every Saturday in Letterkenny and have now extended opening hours from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. for your convenience. Call today and book a test drive and find out more about the fantastic offers on the all-new Kia and Nissan range.
Looking to treat your mum to something personal this Mother's Day? You can now add your own special touch to the iconic Dunnes Stores e-gift card. Choose a photo of mum or select a snap of someone she loves, whether it's you, a family member or even her furry friend. Upload your photo and we'll add it to her e-gift card, which she can use online across fashion, food and homeware. Buy and send a personalised e-gift card at any time or schedule it to arrive on Mother's Day. Dunnes Stores, always better value. Terms and conditions, exclusions and minimum spend applies.
Okay, you're very welcome back to the programme. We're joined now in the Mayor's Parlour by two guests. We'll say good morning or good afternoon, in fact, firstly to Sally Mulready, advisor to the Irish Elderly Advice Network. I'm told, and I can see, that you are a legend in these parts. Is that not overdoing it there, am I?
Been around a long time.
You have indeed. Can you talk to us about, you founded the organisation 3 decades ago, isn't that correct?
Yes, what happened was I decided I was going to take a part-time job. I've worked for Islington Council for many years, and I saw this ad, as simple as that. I saw an ad looking for somebody to provide advice and support to older Irish people, and I got the job, a £9 grant and a £9 just to run the organisation, £9,000. There was very little funding, in other words. And then we got Comic Relief came on board. Camden Council were excellent. Islington contributed, won't say how much. Anyway, I needed funding as much as they needed a worker.
Yeah. Now, also, it's been an important date just past for you as well, because people might know you're originally from Cork, a former public representative, but you were one of the founders also of the Birmingham Six Freedom campaign. And as I say, I think it was the 15th of March was the anniversary of their release.
Yeah, the Birmingham Six, basically, I always say this to everyone, in terms of them, who was campaigning for who, the wives were the first. They stood by their women, they stood by the men through all those 16 years, and then campaigns were developed over time. My journey was basically sitting watching Words in Action one night, and it was absolutely clear to me that they'd got that this was a terrible, terrible mistake. And I had been involved in the miners' strike and the miners' wives, and Islington Town Hall. In fact, Margaret Hodge was leader at the time. And Margaret Hodge was she's an MP down in Barking, Barking and Dagenham. But I mean, she was amazing, the stuff she did. But not only her, the trade union movement as well in Islington was very strong, and they came on board.
But did you have to suffer any backlash from it? Because I'm sure your campaign wouldn't have been popular with everybody.
Yeah, at the beginning, I mean, don't forget, it took 16 years for the state to say, sorry, guys, we got the wrong guy.
Yes.
16 years. So I suppose, when you take that into consideration, it's not it's not a simple history. But, I mean, there was campaigns, there was the wives, there was then the general campaigning groups and organisations.
Yeah.
I went in to see them in prison twice, and it was quite scary.
I would imagine so.
But very impressive. Those 6 men were, totally innocent. Yes, you are right. I mean, I had people, even Irish people, coming up and saying, you've got it wrong.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
They did
and with everything else going on, you have to really feel strongly, you have to have the courage of your convictions, because you have to ride a lot of that out. You're also a member of the Irish Council of State, and very special in that you are one of the 7 appointees appointed to the Council of State in 2012 by Michael D. Higgins, the president. She's the only president, Sally's the only president's nominee on the Council of State who does not live in Ireland, which again, I presume that was a great honour for you, was it?
Absolutely. And I was flabbergasted when I got the phone call from Michael D. President Higgins.
If you're on very good terms with him, it's okay if you call him Michael D.
Oh, I think the whole Ireland
we all
calls
are,
him with great affection.
Okay. We're also joined by John O'Connor, who is a trustee of the Irish Elderly Advice Network. Talk to us about why this network was founded, John, and good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to you. And the Irish Elderly Advice Network was formed in 1993 from the discovery of 3 elderly Irishmen, who were found dead in their apartments or flats on the same flat but different ones.
Wow.
And it prompted some Irish women to set up an organisation to look after these people like this. So the Irish Elderly Advice Network was formed, and since then it's been going from strength to strength, and up to this present moment in time they have gained for Irish people, Irish elderly people, for social housing, benefits, you name it, they chased it. And now they're like paying out, they're not paying, but they've managed to obtain over £2 million a year.
Which is very impressive.
A phenomenal amount of money.
And I suppose it's also to make sure that these that people don't get lost, fall through the cracks. Their contribution is recognised, that there are supports and groups around them to make sure that they are treated with the importance that they deserve. Because even just as you spoke those words, my mind was taken to what it must have been like for the 3 people that you mentioned.
Yes.
To go on to meet their makers.
That's right.
What might have been going through their heads? How did they feel? How did their isolation make obviously an end of life situation even more difficult? So it's anything we can do to prevent that happening.
These people, if you then there's hundreds like them that they're worked in England and London and all the UK, and they've been here since they were 15, 16 years of age, and for some reason they've fallen through the cracks and they've lost contact with their families, they've lost contact with their friends and neighbours, and consequently they're on their own, living on their own, and no one sort of, once their doors are closed, then nobody cares. But the Irish Elderly Advice Network,
they care.
If they get a hint that somebody is looking for help or need help, then they're there for them.
Which is very, very important, Sally, isn't it? For all the reasons we've been outlining there. And these are our uncles, our aunties, our grandparents, and this is.
I think I would say about the in addition to what John just said, the one thing that's really moved me and really kind of gave me a direction almost immediately I started the job, and that was the sense of empowerment I felt none of them had when they come to us. And we wanted to instill that. We wanted to let people have pride.
Yeah, it just ebbed out of them over years.
They just give out. I mean, when I see people sitting outside the station and they're Irish people, I kind of like, I just wish we could do more than we do. But it is 100 times better, and thanks to a large extent, the finance now comes from the Irish Government, Department of Foreign Affairs, and year on year that gets better, more strategically allocated to us, to our charity as well.
Brilliant. Okay.
And what's happened as well is that there's been a mushroom, a huge big drive. And there are now several organisations for older Irish people.
But you've set the groundwork. The model is there, and once it's been established, and there is a way to do it, it's easier then to apply it in different areas. John.
But the most important thing about this organisation and organisations like it is that all the advice, anyone that comes to their door or picks up the telephone and ring them, all that advice is free of charge.
Yeah.
And if they can't come to the centre, so the base, then they will go to them. So it's a wonderful organisation.
Okay, listen, and there's a wonderful sound of people getting married in the background as well, isn't there? I think that's what it is. Listen, it's been an absolute pleasure meeting both of you, and congratulations on the work that you do. And maybe we all should be doing a bit more for these are our people too, and it's great to have you, the likes of yourselves.
But it's not only just housing and benefits and looking after elderly people, but they've also have got a cultural side of it as well. So they're still keeping the culture.
Do you have your fiddle with you?
I don't have a fiddle.
No.
I'm trying to see.
Nora has.
On a tin whistle.
We should have told you to. You must bring an instrument. That would be.
But they have a wonderful cultural side as well with the pensioners choir, bring people together.
Yeah.
It's absolutely fabulous.
And it's so important, our interaction with other people. And again, we've learned through COVID how important that is.
Just one last one.
Yes, please, of course.
Can't resist. I was going to say, what's also always been upheld is for us to have a good attitude towards Irish people.
Yes.
Local authorities that are willing to assist and take an interest in what we do, and that's not just councils, it's MPs as well. And I just want to mention that Jeremy Corbyn has been a very excellent MP, and I'm really sad that he hasn't found the means to reconcile with the leader of the Labour Party.
But of course, there's politics is politics.
There's
a lot of yes, I get you, and there's politics there as well, of course. But
of course,
that's the way it is. It's a funny old game, as they say. Yeah. Listen, it's been really nice meeting both of you. It really has. Anything you want to add before we wrap things up?
I just want to say that through Sally's work, and because she had a surgery in East London, which is the part of London that is more or less forgotten about Irish people do actually live in East London. But Sally, through her initiative and drive, she set up an organisation in East London called the Irish Pensioners Forum of East London, and that was started up 10 years ago now. And it's been a godsend to the people, not only just of the 7 boroughs of East London, which we have meetings and tea dances and stuff once a month, and we have the demand for this is unbelievable. So,
well, this leaves me with only just one question: do you sleep, and how many hours are in your day? Because you.
Well,
I don't know how you managed to fit it all in.
You ask. I mean, I have actually put in the last year, and I've been very ill.
Have you?
In the last year.
Okay, well, I'm sorry to hear that.
And I've now recovered, raring to go, and the elections are coming up, and politics is my heartbeat.
It's your passion, and you're rooted in Labour as well, as you mentioned, didn't you?
Pardon?
Your background is in the Labour Party. That's where your heart lies. Okay. What county are you originally from, if you don't mind me asking, John?
Tipperary.
Tipperary. Okay. Well, sure. Look, everything else was going so well up until that point, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was.
Listen, thank you so very much, both of you. It's been an absolute honour and pleasure to meet the pair of you, and I really appreciate you waiting and sparing the time for us. Have a lovely day.
Thank you.
Okay, that was two great people there, clearly, who joined us on the programme, John O'Connor and Sally Mulready. You are tuned to the 9 till noon. No, you're not tuned to the 9 till noon show. It is kind of like a version of it. Don't stop laughing, I can see you. You are tuned to a version of the 9 till noon show, but it's live from, it's live from Islington Council, the Mayor's Parlour here. It's part of a month-long celebration celebrating Irish heritage, and it's really nice to come over here and speak to the people that are doing so much to help people that have just arrived here, but people that have spent their lives working here as well. Okay, we'll be back with more on the programme after the break.
The best music on your station.
If you've got magic moments or great memories captured on your smartphone, now is a great time to have them printed at mcgees.ie. Simply upload your favourite photos, choose your size and finish, and McGee's will take care of the rest, with the results delivered to your door. Prices are from just 12 cents, and there's also creative options available. Preserve your memories today at mcgees.ie. Is your current car ready for change? If so, now is a good time to visit DMG Motors Donegal Town. Choose from their Skoda range including the Fabia, Scala, Superb, Karoq, Kodiaq, Kamiq, Octavia and the all-new electric Enyaq. Now available for delivery. All fitted with the latest technology, Skoda Connect, with a whole new range of simply clever features. DMG Motors have made buying a new car affordable with finance available on all new vehicles. Test drive the new Skoda today. Call 97213996. Skoda, made for Donegal.
Win with low prices from SuperValue with great offers like save 33% on our steak sale with Irish strip loin steak, Epic, selected chocolate large bars, multi-packs and pouches like Nestle Aero and Yorkie, any 4 for €4. Super! And Heineken 15-pack cans, only $25.45. Winning! Win with SuperValue low prices. Enjoy alcohol responsibly.
The Donegal senior ladies play Dublin this Saturday afternoon in the National League semi-final. Join us on Highland Radio for updates from Clonus as Donegal look to upset the defending league champions. Throw in from 1 p.m. Highland's coverage is in association with the Lagoon Bar and Restaurant in Termon.
Okay, and we'll keep you updated with updates on that programme, on that match here between 1 and 2, so stay tuned for that. By the way, I should say, you can interact with us, text or WhatsApp the show, 086 60 25,000. All those lines of communications remain open, 086 60 25,000, or give us a call on 074 91 25,000. If you're watching on our social media pages, feel free to hit a comment there or share it out so other people can see. Right, okay, I'm very pleased to welcome on to the programme now our next guest, and that is Barbara O'Donnell, originally from County Cork, but here in London for over 20 years, and is the Anaesthetic team leader at Whittington Health National Health Trust. Thank you so much for joining us, Barbara. How are you keeping?
I'm good, thanks. And yourself?
Not too bad at all. Do you sometimes, when you hear someone like me say you've been here 20 years, does it seem almost unbelievable?
Slightly. I came over here on
I came over here on sort of relatively short notice, and then stayed. It's funny how it goes, you know, and I'm sure a lot of other Irish people have the same, the same experience.
Story, isn't it?
A lot variants of the same thing staying.
And why did you? I mean, obviously not for getting into any personal reasons, but why did you move over here?
Seemed to be more opportunity.
Yeah.
It's the usual thing. I mean, it was 94 when I moved, so I would have been the last of kind of the previous wave of the crowd who'd gone, because of course the Celtic Tiger hadn't really gotten hold of us yet at home. So, yeah.
And working in healthcare right from the get-go?
Mostly. So I started out in other jobs. I started out in Argos. I worked in a pub on the Finchley Road. And then I did a little bit of healthcare assistant, and then I started as a theatres healthcare assistant in 1995 at the Whittington.
And can you talk to us about your role as an anaesthetic team leader, or even maybe what you were doing before you were elevated to that position?
Okay. So I went through, following the HCA position, I found out about operating department practitioner training, and I went and applied for that. Was offered that course and took it, and that was down at the Middlesex as was. Then did that training and stayed out on the circuit as an operating department practitioner for a good while, and got up, went up through the ranks and took substantive positions, etc. And then the opportunity came up there in 2014 to apply for a Band 7 position, and I wasn't sure, but I stuck my hat in the ring, and here we are. And the team that I run goes out with anaesthetists every day to help anybody who's in severe trouble. Usually we're kind of cardiac arrest, we're women having babies, we are your routine elective operations, so wherever there's an anaesthetist, there's one of us.
Do anaesthetists not get the credit they deserve, I wonder?
They don't.
All surgeons and the rest taking all the limelight. No, I'm being a little bit facetious, but it's an essential part of the whole process.
Yes.
A huge responsibility too.
Massive responsibility for the anaesthetist, massive. I agree that they don't quite get the credit they deserve, insofar as they're kind of almost background, and in fact anaesthesia has got many more arms to it than you might first expect. There's things like pain management, they do things like pre-assessment, helping optimise patients prior to their surgery, so there's a huge amount that they do that's sort of a little bit unseen,
We need loads of your expertise back home. I don't suppose you're any chance of moving back anytime soon, or are the roots so firmly planted now?
I've thought about it. The difficulty is that I don't have a nursing qualification.
Okay. But with that notwithstanding, how do you, from where you're working now, and you look, you'll read all the articles. I'm sure you've got friends and colleagues working within the HSE. If you had the qualifications that were required, and you shouldn't probably actually require them. I'm getting the sense that you're already well qualified in that regard. Does it seem an unattractive place to go and work, with what you're hearing, I wonder?
No, it doesn't seem like an unattractive place to go and work. Not at all. I've heard very, very good things about the work that the HSE does. Obviously, they will have done absolutely sterling work through COVID as well, throughout the most difficult time of their careers as well. ODPs do exist in Ireland. There's a few in private clinics in Dublin. It's just that I think maybe the Irish HSE hasn't quite embraced those allied health professional roles. Maybe is what the impression I have.
Yeah, there's a bit of work to be done there. And you also are a writer.
Yes.
Is it to get into a different headspace, or have you always had an interest in it, or is it something you've took up?
I started writing when I was 13 because it was the only thing that made sense at the time. Actually, I started out in poetry.
Was it cathartic for you? Is that's an often, maybe it's an overused word, but is that really what it was about?
It helps to process.
Yeah.
It helps to process what you see around you, and just the world, and what your own stuff is. So yeah, there's a degree of catharsis. Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
And that's continued then throughout your life.
Pretty much, yes. One form or another, yes.
And talk to us about the kind of stuff you write.
So, started out in poetry, continuing with poetry. I had my first essay, sort of memoir, non-fiction essay, published in 2019 with Culture Matters, who are an organisation here in the UK. That was in an anthology. I've kept journal throughout my life, but of course that's private. But again, it's still all writing effectively.
Of course, yeah.
You know?
And you've been all over the place too, haven't you? You've travelled a lot.
I've travelled, yes, as well. Yes, I managed to go. I managed to get out go and have a really good look around at one time there in 2004, 2005. You know, take a break because I went out in the agency for a while, and then just take a proper break from NHS life and, you know, get on the road for a while.
Okay, listen, it's been absolutely lovely meeting you.
Thank you very much indeed.
Learning more about our influence, the Irish influence over here, and what we're doing, what we're achieving. I say we as if I've done anything. It's like I think, is that the royal we, is it? I'm so sorry. Look what we've done. Look what we've done.
It's true.
Well,
you're here doing it now, aren't
you?
Yeah,
but that being said, I think I can. I can't take any credit. But listen, thank you so much for joining us. It's been lovely having you on the programme. Okay, we have another hour to come on the show. Lots to squeeze in because we have a lot of guests. And we have sport to keep you updated in. We've got the London Mayor. He's going to be joining us. I think Daniel O'Donnell might be making an appearance. We're going to speak to some members of the council and so much more besides. Troy says, a caller, best wishes for your charity ball this evening and well done on your service to the Irish community in Islington. That comes in from the Irish branch of the Labour Party. Another, it's so good to hear the work of the Irish being honoured in Islington. Best wishes, Troy, from all in Letterkenny. And so they continue to come in. Keep them coming in to us. 086 60 25,000. That's the WhatsApp and that's the text number. 086 60 25,000. Give us a call on 07491 25,000. As I say, Maureen O'Donnell and Frank Craig are going to bring us updates between 1 and 2 on the Donegal versus Dublin Ladies National Football League semi-final. So hopefully Donegal can do the job there. As I mentioned, we've got Caitlin Finn coming in. Jeremy Corbyn, by the way, the former Labour leader, is going to be joining us between now and 2, and you heard people here speaking very highly of him. And what else is there? Loads more coming in. Daniel O'Donnell, as I mentioned, and we'll be speaking to reps from Donegal County Council as well. And Sean Mcbride is a Donegal man living in Islington, and so much more. So stay with us. 086 60 25,000. WhatsApps and texts if you wish to stay in touch with the show. Give us a call on 074 91 25,000. But what we'll do is we'll throw it back to studio for a commercial break. We'll get the news at 1 o'clock, and as I say, then rejoin us.
Your voice, your station.
Highland Radio.
HPV cervical screening is free to all women aged 25 to 65. It's the best way to reduce your risk of developing cervical cancer in the future. Women over 50 are less likely to attend screening, but you're still at risk, so it's important to attend your appointment when you're invited. To check you're on the register, visit hse.ie/cervical check or free phone 1-800 45 45 55 from the HSE.
At Centra, we're at the heart of the community, so we go to great lengths to help you live your best life. Fresh bread, finest meals, fantastic offers, all the good feels. Not to mention a fabulous wide range of our own brand favourites. And as for off-licence, we've been to the 4 corners of the world so you can enjoy the best wines and beers locally. At Centra, we've got everything you need. Centra. Live every day. Enjoy sensibly.
Mr. Blue Sky, please tell us why.
Have you got your lotto ticket yet? Play responsibly, in-store, in-app or at lottery.ie. The National Lottery. It could be you.
Broadcasting throughout the Northwest and across the world online. This is Highland Radio. Your voice, your station. Broadcasting throughout the Northwest and across the world online. This is Highland Radio. Your voice, your station.
Good afternoon, these are the latest news headlines at 1 o'clock. I'm Daniel Brennan. A Donegal deputy has criticised the government for missing opportunities to manage the rising cost of energy. Independent TD Thomas Pringle says failure to intervene in time has now left people struggling financially. He's also criticised Minister for the Environment Eamon Ryan for not stepping in early enough to stop electricity and gas companies hiking their prices before an EU proposal to lower VAT on fuels passed recently. Deputy Pringle says he'll be bringing the matter to the Dáil when it reopens again next week. And you can hear from Deputy Thomas Pringle on our website now, that's highlandradio.com. The number of people with COVID-19 being treated in Irish hospitals has increased again to the highest level in over a year. The Department of Health has confirmed 1,127 cases in the hospital system today. That's the highest level since February of last year. 52 patients are now being treated in intensive care for the virus, an increase of 4 since yesterday. Ukraine's president has again urged his Russian counterpart to hold direct talks with him to stop the invasion. Volodymyr Zelensky says Kremlin forces are blockading his country's largest cities to create a humanitarian catastrophe, with the aim of persuading citizens to cooperate with them. Rescue workers are still continuing to sift through rubble of a theatre that was hit in the besieged port city of Mariupol today. The Taoiseach is coming under pressure to support a public inquiry into nursing home deaths during the pandemic. The calls come from campaign group Care Champions ahead of a national ceremony of remembrance and reflection tomorrow. They're pushing for an inquiry to encompass all nursing homes throughout the country. Census 2022 takes place in just over 2 weeks' time. The national survey on Sunday the 3rd of April is the first in 6 years, after last year's census was cancelled due to the pandemic. Vital information gathered by the Central Statistics Office will be used for the planning of public policy and services in future. And finally, a charity climb is taking place at Mount Errigal today in aid of the Irish Motor Neuron Disease Association, as well as for repairs to Hollamore in Dunlow. The event, called Packy's Climb in memory of Maura, is taking place this afternoon and has already raised more than its €5,000 initial goal. That's all from the news desk for now. We'll have another news bulletin for you coming up at 2 o'clock, but until then, good afternoon.
Broadcasting throughout the Northwest and across the world online. This is Highland Radio. Your voice, your station.
Okay, you're very welcome back to a special programme here on Highland Radio this Saturday afternoon. We're broadcasting live from the Mayor's office, the Mayor's parlour. It is a part of a month-long celebration of Irish heritage, which of course the Mayor has coordinated in his role as Mayor of Islington here, and it's just lovely to hear different voices from all over Ireland and those that are helping the Irish that have been here and all that. But we've got so much more to come on the programme, but we also have a very important football match today because Donegal are playing Dublin in the league semi-final this afternoon in Clones, and there for Highland Radio Sport is Maureen O'Donnell and first Frank
Highland's
Ray.
coverage of the Donegal ladies in the National League in association with the Lagoon Bar and Restaurant Terman, the perfect place to eat and enjoy your special occasions. Call us today on 074 913988 for more information.
Thank you very much, Greg, and welcome to St Tierna's Park, Clones, for this Lidl Ladies National Football League Division 1 semi-final between Donegal and Dublin. With me here in the commentary position is former Donegal Coolbar and Maureen O'Donnell. We're a little under 2 minutes in here, and it's still scoreless. Of course, Dublin, big hitters in the ladies' football, 4 in a row champions, of course, dethroned last year by Meath. Donegal looking to get back to the top table again, having been beaten in the Ulster final last year by Armagh, and of course it was Dublin that accounted for Donegal in the All-Ireland Series. Morning. Donegal up against it here today. The record against Dublin at this level isn't good. They get close, but they don't get over the line. What do they need to do differently here this afternoon?
I suppose they have to hold on very early in the early stages of the game. Frank, not like last year, they come out of the blocks flying and then they lost the game to Dublin by 5 points. And I know it was a quarter-final, an All-Ireland quarter-final, but today's championship-pace game as well because they're looking for a place in the final today. So I think they need to cool down, steady the game very early, try and keep as much of the play out. They're defending now. They have the breeze at their back. Dublin are hitting against the breeze now at the minute, Frank. So Donegal need to get as many scores on board this half as possible.
Yeah, and the good news for Donegal is that Yvonne Boner, having come on against Mayo last time out and scoring 2 points, she's in from the very off, and of course Katie Hearn starts as well. So encouraging team news at least for Donegal. Little over 3 minutes gone here in Clones, and it's still scoreless. Back to you, Greg.
Highland's coverage of the Donegal ladies in the National League is in association with the Lagoon Bar and Restaurant Terman. Call in today and sample our new bar menu with daily specials available. Now taking bookings for Mother's Day Sunday lunch. Call 074 9139088.
Okay, and we'll be going back to Maureen and Frank a little later on in the programme. In fact, just stay with us about 10 or 15 minutes and you get much more coverage then between 1 and 2. I'm trying to keep track of what time it is. I think I'm right there. No, yeah, 2 and 3. Yeah, 2 and 3. We're in 1 and 2 now. Okay. I'm delighted to welcome on to the programme now, and lots of people have been waiting for her to join us. Caitlin Finn, London Mary in the Mary from Dunlow this year. Caitlin, how are you getting on?
Good, lovely to be here.
What an honour. I mean, there's a lot of people in London.
Yeah, it is.
For you
Such
to be
an honour, yeah.
To be selected.
Absolute privilege.
Come here, when did you decide to get involved in Mary from Dunlow?
So I'd been involved with the festival for the last 5 or 6 years as a volunteer, taking photographs of the Marys and helping them around. So I just thought it was a fantastic opportunity and always said that when I was in my 20th year I'd go for it.
Right.
Then unfortunately last year, as you know, it didn't go ahead. It was virtual.
Yeah.
So this year's the big year.
Brilliant stuff. And did you have to go through, I don't know, how do they select the Mary over here? Do you just say, look, I'm interested in it, and they go?
Yeah, so you have to fill out an application form and then it goes through the process of selection.
Brilliant.
And yeah.
How long have you been living over here?
I've been living over here since September 2019. I'm in university in Twickenham. So yeah,
how do you find it?
I absolutely love it.
Really?
Love it over here.
It's a big change though, isn't it?
Big change from Letterkenny, but yeah.
It is. I mean, Letterkenny is big.
Yeah.
But then, you know, you go to London, it's like, well, that's big.
Yeah. And Twickenham's like a home away from home. There's loads of Irish, so yeah.
Which is reassuring for your family, of course, because I know
Absolutely.
you're an adult and all, but you know, for someone heading away,
yeah,
you know, you'd be wondering, are they going to be okay and all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. So you can. Are you looking forward to the festival itself?
Absolutely, cannot wait.
When is it taking place this year?
It's bank holiday weekend in August,
Right,
start
so
of August.
some time away, of course.
Yeah.
And are you doing? I mean, obviously, you're fulfilling things like this and having a chat about it
Yeah.
and talking about the competition. Are you doing much else, or?
Tomorrow I'm with the Goatstone Shave in Islington, so really looking forward to that as well.
Well, that's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'd say in the past you've went to watch them somewhere in
absolutely.
Donegal, and now
Yeah.
they're coming over
Yeah.
here, and you're their guest. Isn't it? That's all right.
Absolutely.
How things change,
Yeah.
isn't it? Okay, very exciting. That's going to be a cracking gig, that one, I think.
Yeah.
Because to see them out playing again as well, like all bands, they haven't been able to do so. Right, so you're looking forward to the whole week of event. I've spoken to lots of people involved over the years, and they all talk about this amazing experience, this amazing bonding experience and growing experience, and it seems to have. That's everyone's experience of it, and you want a bit of that, I'm sure, as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's nowhere else in the world you're going to get to meet 20 plus girls from everywhere that have completely different experiences.
And all different people from all different backgrounds.
Absolutely.
It's amazing in that regard. Is it too soon to talk party tricks? I don't even know if it's called party tricks. You know what I'm on about?
Party piece, yeah, no,
party
absolutely.
piece, sorry. Party tricks. Where did I pull that one from?
Not too soon, not too soon.
Are you going to sing?
Everyone knows I'm a bit of a singer myself.
I just wanted to hear you say it.
But I've written poems for the festival before as well, so
and
who's your
favourite artist?
Musically? Good, it's too many to choose from. Big fan of Brian McMullen from Belfast. He's fantastic.
He's very, very popular, but I don't think radio stations realise how popular he is amongst their fans.
Yeah.
If you get where I'm coming from.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's got a huge following. Who, I bet you haven't been asked this one, Mayor Troy Gallagher, who is your favourite artist? Singing artist. What kind of music do you listen to?
Oh, I've got an eclectic taste of music, so I can listen to Mumford and Sons, to Enya. And there's quite a lot of
that is quite
music.
a switch up, isn't it?
It is, yeah, it is. Depends what mood I'm in, Greg. Enya calms me down. Pressure
what do you need to be listening to for us to avoid you? Do you know, if you're listening to this, you just don't want to get near him with Mumford and Sons or a bit of metal. You've a bit of an interest in the likes of these types of competitions, a bit of history, haven't you?
Yeah, my uncle Pat Nora Gallagher ran the Mary from Dunlow Festival for 30 years, and Sham's going to be on later on. He was talking last night about the many time as teenagers going down for the Mary from Dunlow Festival, meeting great people, and also how wonderful Dunlow is. It's a really beautiful spot.
Absolutely.
And you know, I think the level since the post-pandemic, the level of appreciation people have for Donegal, the health and well-being, people walk on the beaches, go out hill walking, but also just on the tiniest side, the Rose of Tralee. One of my sister-in-law was the former London Rose in 2011. She went on to win it. She was Claire Camembert. She became Rose of Tralee. So,
I've interviewed a couple of. We were over in London for another program a couple of years ago, and we interviewed the London Mary then as well. So I just travel around London meeting future Mary from Dunlow festivals, and it is a beautiful part of the world. Dunlow is. I mean, I know you're from Letterkenny, but you'd have been out there, I'm sure, and you know the crack.
Absolutely.
And the type of place it is, and it's just a real celebration too. And I think over the last couple of years too, they've pushed the focus out. It's changed a little bit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's more Donegal as well as. Everything has to evolve and change, and it's the same as well. Yeah. Right, so we know you're going to enter, we know you're going to sing. Do we know what you're going to sing, and are you going to sing it today?
Absolutely not a clue what I'm going to sing. Not a clue so far.
All right, and we won't put you under pressure. Are you going tonight as well? No? Or are you able to make tonight for the Mayor's Ball, or is it all your focus on the Ghost on Shave tomorrow?
We have to get a nice rest for the Ghost on Shave tomorrow.
Yeah, there's a lot going on tomorrow as well, isn't there? Talk to us a little bit about that.
So there's a special mass tomorrow in Duncan Terrace, which is a big Irish church. There's a mass not there, and then it's followed by Navigator Square. And from 12:30 to 5:30 is the Family Fun Day. Some of the acts include Ghost Don't Shave, a band called Keela, your good self, as she's going to be here with myself. We're going to, and there's a lot of storytelling and fun-filled activities at both sides of the stage for different age groups of family.
But this is it'll draw a big crowd, not just with direct Irish connections, because I notice, when we were over at the event that Tiny Vaughan is behind, that the broad community comes out and enjoys it as well.
Yeah,
and they can a lot of especially people that have moved here or second generation can relate as well. It's all the same. It doesn't matter really which country you came from.
No, and that's right. And that was very important to me. Was you don't have to be Irish born, but you can second, third generation. But equally, Greg, when we had the Windrush celebration at the Whittington Hospital back in September, unveiling the statue, the High Commissioner of Jamaica said to me, in Jamaica and Barbados we've got a huge Irish community, and there's people who are from those communities here that come out and celebrate, who are coming out and participating in this Irish month as well. So people from Jamaica, Barbados, who've got Irish heritage, all joining in. So, and that's the beauty of Ireland, the global footprint. No matter what your background, we all come together to celebrate Irishness.
Yeah.
When we said we were doing this, I've had a lot of messages saying, is Caitlin on, or what time's Caitlin on? So come here, have you anyone to say hello to? Don't leave anyone out, because I'm not gonna explain it to them. You're gonna have to do
my nanny
today.
Mary deserves a special shout out. She's been really, really looking forward to it. And my mum and my little sister Hannah, my brother Owen, they'll be tuning in.
Yeah, and I know Mary, she's messaged me, she's listening. Is she in Dublin, I think?
She might be in Dublin. She was down there for St Patrick's Day.
So she's listening into you in Dublin. Both of you from Donegal, one in Dublin, one in London, and look where I am. It's hard to keep track of it all. But great stuff. Listen, best of luck with it,
Thank you very much.
I mean, I hope you win, because I'm here with you now, but I think we all know you're going to have just the most amazing time and experience, and that's fantastic. And Troy, you're staying with us anyway. You're not going anywhere. We'll be back with more, including an update from the football and plenty more guests. Stay where you are after these.
At Centra, we have great offers for the long weekend, like inspired by Centra Irish Angus strip loin steak, 450 gram, only €8. Buy one King or Tato selected 250 gram pack and one Club selected 1.75 litre for only €4. And until Sunday, Santa Rita 120 range, only €8 each. Centra, live every day. Enjoy cold sensibly.
Remember telling your kids not to play with their food? Well, you might have to eat your words, because Aldi has teamed up with Irish Rugby for the Play With Your Food competition to help kids enjoy their fruit and vegetables. Encourage your kids to create fresh fruit and veg masterpieces and share them on Aldi's social channels with hashtag Aldi Play With Your Food. For a chance to win great Irish Rugby prizes, join in at aldi.ie. Aldi, official fresh food partner of Irish Rugby.
Store and Go Springtown Dairy, the north of Ireland's only temperature-controlled smart access individually sized storage units.
Store and Go offers storage for personal storage, house moves and renovations, business storage for excess stock or filing systems. Once signed up, you can access 24 hours a day through an app on your phone, gaining access through 4 levels of security to your most precious possessions.
Call Store and Go Springtown Dairy on 02871 278 900 to discuss your needs and get bespoke advice, or get a free quote at storeandgo.net.
Yeah, I think if you try to design a garden too much, it's artificial looking then, and we'd better to say go along in the garden We see these gardening programs, don't put this colour beside that colour, and don't. I think that's a lot of nonsense too. Like, I think a plant looks nice no matter what colour it is.
That's Down the Garden Path, a new series Wednesday nights on Highland Radio, after the news at 8 p.m.
The best of music on your station.
And for this Saturday afternoon, it's music and it's conversation. We were talking a little earlier on, myself and Mayor Gallagher, about the fact that, this is about celebrating culture and recognising people's contribution and all that, but you also have to look to the future as well. Anne-Marie Conlon's Head of Economic Development with Donegal County Council and joins us on the programme here live from the Mayor's Parlour. Anne-Marie, thanks very much for joining us. You've been here a couple of days now.
I've been here a few days. We came in on Thursday morning, Greg, so I'm delighted to be here this morning with yourself and the Mayor.
Yeah, and indeed, yesterday you met with a number of business people. Are they primarily from London? If it was a business breakfast, I suppose you could say?
Yeah, we had a business breakfast on foot of an invite by the Mayor, and I suppose really we've spent about the last 8 weeks developing and planning for it and connecting in with people with a Donegal connection in London and in Islington. So we had about 40 people in the room yesterday, lots of people from different business networks, kind of different Irish London business networks, and really amazed by the number of Donegal connections. Kind of blown away by it. It's everywhere, absolutely.
And indeed, there's just a couple that happened to live here, and they knew we were here, and they from Buncrana, and they called in, and that's the way it is. And I suppose, as we kind of touched on this a little bit earlier on, it's not sitting there having the begging bowl out. It's reminding people too that a lot of positivity is happening in Donegal. A lot of opportunity, a lot of different ways of working. I'm sure they're well aware of that, but it's an opportunity to remind people and sort of say, this is some of the assistants that are there, and this is what's good for you, and this is what could be good for us. Is that kind of the conversation?
Absolutely, Greg. Yeah, absolutely. And I think Donegal has come on so much in the last 20 years. And I think what's really important is our cross-border kind of location, if you like. So we're in the EU, but we're right beside Northern Ireland with access to UK and Northern Ireland markets. And I suppose when we're connecting with businesses in London, what we're saying to them is, look, this is a great location. If you want to access the EU, we're right here on the border with Northern Ireland. So the people of Donegal are really comfortable working in those two settings, and that in itself is it's a key selling point for us.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And could also be as well a problem solver for some of the people we're speaking to.
Absolutely.
Because logistics is a big thing, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And also you can point to other companies that are doing very well in Donegal as well. You're not expecting anyone to be the trailblazer here. There's big companies that are doing it, and it's tried and tested, and
Yeah, absolutely. And we've a lot of kind of lessons to share as well between Islington and Donegal. So, for example, how the likes of Anaesthetic Institute of Technology and the Donegal ETB have worked with large companies in the county and smaller businesses to develop those kind of bespoke training programs where they can then get the employees that are job ready, that are able to go in. So that in itself is that's probably a departure from what happens in other places. So that's lessons learned maybe for companies as well, and for agencies here in Islington and London. So we're sharing really information.
And I kind of suppose, Troy, it backs you up a little bit, because we're very proud people, particularly I think from Donegal. So at any opportunity you'd say to people, this is what you can do, these are the opportunities. But at least now you've got the likes of Anne-Marie and others coming over to back it up with the facts and figures. An actual pathway if someone was inclined to do so.
Yeah, and that's important. It is creating that pathway and putting in a delivered action plan. As I say before, it's how we utilise that shared experience and the opportunity, because it's easy to say, why can someone not live in Ranafars and still have a work in London? Why cannot someone say, I want to have an apprenticeship in Donegal for 6 months, bring that skill across, get the European experience, and then actually when they set up their own business, further strengthen the relationships between the UK and Ireland by opening wider opportunities across. Can I just also say, I think it's really important that one of the things I wanted to achieve was that county councils actually work with the established network of the Irish family they've got in Britain to be able to tackle some of the social issues as well, and through building that relationships too, whether it be in Donegal, Limerick, I've had a conversation with the Lord Mayor of Cork, the Lord Mayor of Limerick, to be able to follow on the example being led by Donegal to fill into that wider vision and break down. There's no need for the emigrant to be gone.
No, and that's all right.
No,
and
exactly.
we have to make sure a rising tide lifts all boats.
Yeah.
Is there a particular connection here? Because a lot of the different, people I've been speaking to have a background in Cork, and you've referenced Cork, or is it just a coincidental in passing comment?
Yeah, a bit of both. The Cork Association, which is after the Donegal one, is quite has a high footprint.
Right. Okay, that
in
makes
London.
sense then. So
the business tend to go through that.
Yeah. Now, also, Anne-Marie, there's big hitters over here too. There's people that have come over here and made a fortune. They probably could buy us if they wanted to. So it's great to have access to people with those resources and that business acumen.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
You fall over and create great wealth in a big business. You have to have, a skill set, don't you?
Absolutely, and I suppose the work that we're doing in Donegal in terms of regeneration from places such as Ironmore and Burtonport to Letterkenny to Killybegs, and it's about telling those people about the work that we're doing and seeing is there an opportunity, because a lot of people want to come back and do something for their own areas. It's kind of all in us, we want to make kind of mummy and daddy proud and our ancestors proud, so it's about giving people the opportunity to do that. So on the back of maybe investment that we're making in the council, to see these are opportunities for someone who's looking to come back, maybe invest in a hotel or invest in some business in the area. Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, but we have to make sure we get the simple things right too, like if someone moves back to Ireland, being able to get car insurance. Do you know what I mean? I know it sounds like a silly thing to say, but people come back to Ireland and they can't actually get on the road with all their wealth because their no claims has lapsed or whatever it might be. You want to say something there?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind. Thank you, Greg. I think what the feedback from the Irish immigrants who've started to come across to Ireland before pandemic was the level of bureaucracy that they have. So
that's why, as a politician, I can't think of the right words. I have to say insurance. No, it's bureaucracy. That's what we're talking about. It's the bureaucracy.
And that's they've said they have 2 years savings to use for putting down deposit for a mortgage, etc. But it's the level of bureaucracy having gone for so long, the PRSI number, the credit union and all tagging through, which they said try for this to work and for people to go back to Ireland. They do now post-pandemic. Donegal's great opportunities, but both yourself and the politicians and the wider networks need to remove the bureaucracy and make it more simplified and straightforward.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of stuff works quite well at local authority level or council level, and it's not the conversation we have. We often be talking about what a TD says or what a government says, and Anne-Marie, I'm not going to try and walk you into anything that's controversial to you, but it's kind of a credit really, I think, to the local authorities and stuff, in that maybe if we could we'd have a better understanding of the bureaucracy, the little things, because we do a lot of the other stuff on a local level, and it's the big things that can undo us, and it's out of our control to some extent. Not the big things, the little things that can undo us. All right, listen, and it's a long game, a long play, Anne-Marie, isn't it? I was chatting to someone recently who was one of the first delegations that went over to China. We weren't doing much trade there, and this is not the same, but and then now there are great connections in terms of exports and what have you. This is not instant results, but we hope that these type of breakfasts, we will feel the benefit down the road. We don't know quite when, but that we will.
Yeah, this is really about starting the conversation, Greg, and it's about giving people an opportunity to see who they can connect with, and it probably would take a bit of time, in terms of looking at exploring options, looking at again, looking at the bureaucracy, looking at how things work. And I suppose one of our jobs in terms of the work that we do is about highlighting those kind of issues that you just mentioned. So for example, a few weeks ago we were talking to lovely Donegal people who come every year and spend 4 months in Fulcara, and they're in their 80s now, so he's finding it really difficult to get car insurance, just as you spoke about, and he has to get a new Irish driving licence. He's 83 years of age, and he's doing it. He's going in and he's applying for it, and he's doing his test. He's done his theory test, and it's all so he can drive in Donegal for 4 months of the year. So it's things like that we do need, but we need to know about them, and we need to know that they're issues, and that's what we can do. And then it's about highlighting them.
Lovely to have you in. What is it, Troy? Tell the whole class.
I was just going to say, it's
no secrets.
It's about 30 years. It was about 30 years in Sumpta Doherty's class. It was at the time. She now Sumpta Donaghy when I made that mistake and she said, "Tell the whole class."
So is there something you want to mention just
I
before
do.
we go to the
I
music?
just wanted to
Not
say,
music, the sport.
we had yesterday the Lord Mayor of the City of London attend this breakfast, and he is very keen to be involved with this too and take it further, and also the wider links with the Northwest between Donegal, Derry Airport, which I think so much could be utilised for immigrants.
Exactly, and that's when we talk about, the city's Northwest city status. It makes it very easier. It's easier to sell it. It's not necessarily for what it does for us. Or how we feel about it, but it makes it easier then to market and spread the word. Listen, brilliant stuff. Anne-Marie, thank you very much. Great to chat to you over here, and keep up the good work. Anne-Marie Conlon there. She is the Head of Economics, Economic Development with Donegal County Council. All right, we are going to be joined very shortly by Daniel O'Donnell as well, but of course, as you know, Donegal are taking on Dublin in the National Ladies Football League semi-final, and we head back now to Clones for an update from Maureen and Frank.
Highlands coverage of the Donegal ladies in the National League in association with the Lagoon Bar and Restaurant Terman. The perfect place to eat and enjoy your special occasions. Call us today on 074 9139088 for more information.
Yeah, Greg, welcome back to Clones here, and we're 22 minutes in. And the good news for Donegal in the first quarter was that they really bossed matters, kicking with the breeze, putting a huge press on the Dublin kick-out to go 5-1 up. Dublin, though, with a point to their name at that stage on 6 minutes, 4 points off the pace, but just in the second quarter here now, a bad mistake coming out of Donegal's own defence by Shelley Tuig. It fist over her head, it presented the ball to Hannah Turrell, and she buried to the back of the net. That's left at 1-1 to 5 point. A 1 point game now after Donegal doing so well. Dublin had taken the lead through Lindsay Davey on 6 minutes, but Geraldine McLaughlin from a free quickly tied matters up. Karen Guthrie again from a place ball in 8 minutes pushed Donegal 2-1 ahead. Then another place ball, this time from Guthrie from the hands here on the left hand side, moved Donegal into a 2-point lead at 3 points to 1. Donegal continued to press aggressively on the Dublin kick-out, and another close-range free presented itself for Geraldine McLaughlin to move Maxley Kearns Girls 4 points to 1 in front. And then just before the water break, Karen Guthrie with Donegal's first point from play left it 5-1. Donegal continued to do very well in terms of possession and putting Dublin under huge pressure with a high-energy game, and seemed to be coasting along here, but just a turnover inside their own 14. Seemed to be no danger. Shelley Tuig coming out with the ball, looked to move possession on to a teammate on the left, but Hannah Turrell, she second-guessed that there, jumped, blocked the ball down, and buried it past Roisin McCaffrey. It says we're a little under 7 minutes out here now from half-time. Donegal, for all their huff and puff, are only a point to the head. It's 5 points to Donegal, 1 goal and a point to Dublin. Maureen, what do you think of that there?
Listen, Frank, just listen to your commentary. It's just disappointing that Donegal lost that goal because they were really motoring on well. They were holding on to possession, but it's as if Dublin are just waiting for Donegal to make mistakes. They're in now again. This could be another goal opportunity. Because it's very slack here, but Dublin are just chipping away, Frank. So and they need to. Donegal really need to use the advantage that they have, which is the one that they're back now in this half. Try and get a few more scores. Now we're level now, Frank, as it is here now, and we're not far away from the half-time mark.
Yeah, Kate Sullivan just hitting another point there for Dublin, so it's 1-2 to 5 points, all square and all to play for. Back to you, Greg.
Highlands coverage of the Donegal ladies in the National League is in association with the Lagoon Bar and Restaurant Terman. Call in today and sample our new bar menu with daily specials available. Now taking bookings for Mother's Day Sunday lunch. Call 074 9139088.
We're the connectors. At ESB Networks, we've been connecting customers to Ireland's power network for years. We've also been making new connections, building a network that's stronger than ever, so we can all be kinder to the planet. Connecting our network to natural resources and Ireland to a net zero future that's more sustainable. ESB Networks, connecting you to a clean electric future.
Looking for a flexible, affordable home improvement loan? From your kitchen renovation to getting your garden barbecue ready, B&S Credit Union's Renovate loan is ready to go. For loans from €5,000 to €70,000, visit their website at bnscu.ie or free phone 1800 290 390, where their dedicated and experienced loans team will be delighted to help you. Loans are subject to approval, terms and conditions apply. B&S Credit Union Limited is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
On the night of April 3rd, we'll all come together to fill out our census forms. And the information you provide will help show where essential services are needed in every part of the country. So on Sunday, April 3rd, be a part of Ireland's future. Be counted. Visit census.ie to find out more.
Okay, you are very welcome back to the programme. We are still live here from the Mayor's Parlour. It is great to be over here as part of this month, which is celebrating Irish heritage and looking to the future as well, not just looking backwards as well. Of course, former Letterkenny man, I presume you still count yourself from Letterkenny. We've touched on that already. We have Troy Gallagher, who's the current mayor, and using his term in office also to run and host this event. Sham Mcbride joins us on the programme as well. Sham, good morning to you. How are you keeping?
Yeah, good. Greg, yourself?
I'm doing fantastic. You're originally from Glasgow, lived in Letterkenny for 13 or 14 years. You got to know Troy there?
Yeah, I've known Troy all my life. When I moved over to Ireland, he's a townie like ourselves. He's from Iona. He just lived down the bottom of the town, and we actually went to school together at St Eunice, so yeah.
And then he moved to Islington.
He moved to Islington probably about 20-something years ago. Yeah, and I'm here, actually, this is me getting into my 19th year myself, so I wasn't far behind him.
Yeah, and how's life been here for you?
Yeah, life over here in Islington is great. I've obviously got my family not here now. My missus is obviously second generation Irish. Her mum and dad is from Cranford and Carrygart. They've been here for nearly going on 45 something years.
But you met your partner in the grill?
Yes, I met my partner in the grill. Is right. I'm sure a lot of Letterkenny men met their partners in the grill. So I'm probably no different.
All right, but still, it's nice. And you both live here now. Tell us what you're doing over here.
I'm a project manager in construction. I used to be in Jersey in the Channel Islands. I got myself into construction after I left Letterkenny. And yeah, there's no better place to be into construction over here. It's thriving, it's booming.
Isn't it? I mean, the cranes are back.
The cranes have never gone. Yeah. Even through the pandemic, we never stopped. I was working every single day, so it was great.
I mean, some of the buildings going up are unbelievable. What area of construction are you working?
It's all housing. I'm in the housing sector, always have been. A little bit of retail here and there, but it's most of the housing sector I'm in.
Yeah, but we have a strong history and record too, don't we, of coming over here and working in construction. Always have, always probably will.
Listen, the thing about it is actually when you're here for a length of time and you get to know a lot more people, the Irish companies that are over here is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
When you start delving into them, they maybe gone to a second generation, maybe the son or something's taken it over, but it all started from, and I'm continuing to work with a load of Irish companies over here.
Well, that's it. And I mean, like, I'm not saying it's not like that at home in Ireland, okay, but it's funny from speaking to people in previous shows we did from London and in different parts of the world as well, the sense that you get almost the Irish community stronger outside of Ireland, if you know what I mean, that people work very, very closely together. There's still that tradition of, helping people out if there's a job available, if there's an event that needs a bit of backing or charity, do you know what I mean? There's a great sense of Irish community in the likes of London. I'm sure it's replicated in Birmingham, and as I mentioned, Dubai, New York, we know what it's like in America as well. We've retained it more almost, I think, sometimes outside of Ireland, if that makes sense.
Yeah, listen, I don't think you can take the Irishman out of Ireland. I think when anybody has anything that they actually want to do, obviously the mayor came up with this idea of having this weekend or this month event, and he brought it to my attention probably over a year ago, and it just started taking a pair of legs, and we've gone from strength to strength, and again we've obviously opened up to a lot of Irish companies over here, and straight away when you get on the phone to them, there wasn't a problem about coming in and sponsoring an event or offering prizes, whatever it may be, and they're all Donegal, some of them Letterkenny lads, so yeah. Right. That's a very easy thing over here to do that with them sort of people.
Yeah, I can imagine. Listen, it's been lovely meeting you.
No problem. Thank you very much for having me on.
It must be nice to be part of the Irish community over here and have a month like this, sort of recognising our history, our contribution, and all that type of stuff.
Greg, it's whatever the vision that this man has, and he's obviously brought it to the table, and to bring everybody over, and you see the amount of people that's actually come over here, and I've met a few people I haven't seen in 20 odd years. You ain't going to get this again, and he's done the right thing by obviously marking the 100 years and marking his role as mayor.
All right, and it's a personal story here as well. A lot of people messaging from home to you, Troy. Greg, I know of all Troy's family in Letterkenny. They're all lovely, and his late dad was a lovely Dunlow man, is that correct? Yes, indeed, okay. Troy's mum here, which is nice, isn't it? Listening in Letterkenny, I'm told. Very proud of you and the work you're doing for the Irish and the community in Islington. Love, Mum.
Oh,
isn't that nice? And Troy's brother Hugh here, sending our love and best wishes to Troy today. We are so proud of the work you've done. Disappointed we can't be there due to COVID, but we know the event this weekend will be a huge success, and that comes in from Hugh and Kerry as well. So it's nice. It's nice to.
It really is.
Nice to get that personal touch, isn't it, as well? Okay. Right, okay, we'll switch guests out now. Listen, Shan, thanks very much for joining us. Continued success here. Do you get home much out of interest?
Yeah, I do, yeah. I've got my mum and dad and my family back there. I've got my own house and that down around the Downings area, so we frequented the summer times. My kids can't wait to get back.
For the summer, is there?
6 weeks of the summer time, I'm going back.
Do you have a massive boat?
No, unfortunately, I'm not at that level yet. I'm lucky to have the front door.
You've a few more houses to build yet before you get the cruise liner. Is that it? All right.
That's the one.
Thanks very much indeed. I appreciate it. All right. Stay in touch with us. 086 60 25,000. That's the WhatsApp text line. 086 60 25,000. Or give us a call on 074 91 25,000. 074 91 25,000. If you're watching us on social media, feel free to leave your comments there. Right, okay. And I've a few messages here, but the phone's playing up on me, so I'll get back to those. Keep them coming in to us. They will be read out before the show is over. Okay. I welcome on to the programme now Islington North MP, Jeremy Corbyn. Thank you very much for joining us. Good to have you on the programme, and good for you to call in, by the way, and do it personally with us. We appreciate it. How are you keeping?
Very well, thanks. It's a real pleasure to be here.
Yeah, it's good. 1983, you're first elected here. You know that. I'm just telling our listeners, of course. How has things changed over that period of time, do you think?
In our borough?
In your borough, yeah.
Massively. I was first elected in 1983. Actually, in this very building, the election result was declared. I remember it very well in the Assembly Hall. It's one of those life-changing moments. Then Islington was very much an Irish borough. A huge number of Irish people lived here, mainly the men working in construction, a lot of Irish women working in the Whittington Hospital as nurses, and alongside the Windrush generation, they made a fantastic contribution to our society. A lot of Irish music and Irish pubs, excuse me, all along the Holloway Road and Archway, and the Archway Tavern was a major source of employment, almost an employment exchange, and there was a huge sort of Irish presence everywhere, and the Irish music was very common in most of the pubs, live music, which we don't unfortunately get as much of these days because pubs have become rather boring and antiseptic in some cases. And there was St Patrick's Day was just Irish flags everywhere, which was great. And I loved the buzz of it and the community, and as you know, have been very involved in Irish issues all the time. I've been an MP. It's different now. Troy is our mayor, who's done an incredible job in promoting Irish culture, Irish issues, and I loved it when he was elected mayor. I was actually in Liverpool at the time, but I was following it online when he said, I thank the people of Islington and Donegal
good man
for becoming the mayor, which was a lovely touch.
Yeah.
And now we have actually, I think, the largest number of Irish-born people in any borough in the country, which is good. And there's this constant back and forth of people going to Ireland and back all the time. But there's one thing I sort of remember in the 1980s, there was a lot of older men who were coming to the end of their working life in construction, were actually quite lonely, often quite sad. And they used to say to me, you know, when I go home, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. They could have gone home at any time, really, but they were frightened to go home to a changed Ireland, and so they often led quite sad lives.
They did,
here.
and we were
living on their own, bedsits and stuff. It wasn't all good, and they worked incredibly hard and were very grossly exploited in the building industry. But I know you got a question. Just one other thing I want to say is that the community has changed quite a lot, but there's been a resurgence of Irish culture. For example, a pub opened in Finsbury Park, and I'm a bit of a bore when it comes to pub names. I don't think they should change. because I think a pub name usually.
You're talking so much about pubs, I'm getting thirsty.
Well, actually, I don't even drink.
Okay, right.
I mean, I'm a teetotaler, but that doesn't mean I'm not prepared to go into a pub and take an apple juice. But one pub changed its name to the W.B. Yeats.
Right.
And I thought that was great.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just the name. They've deliberately developed it, deliberately encouraged Irish poetry and so on. And that to me is good.
Mm.
And so Irish dancing, we used to have an Irish centre, but unfortunately that was closed and sold off. But we had an Irish bookshop. But we do have this sort of big spirit of the Irish community in the borough, and long may it stay that way.
And you talked about the experience of a lot of people that were working here, and we were talking about that earlier on, and the work of the Irish Elderly Advice Network in trying to support those who were caught between maybe feeling that they've served their purpose here, but Ireland had changed so much that they couldn't return, and now they have people there. Now they have people there to support them. In terms of politics, the situation with the likes of your BBC News, Sky News, RT at home, you get the impression that only the important decisions in the running of a country is made at Parliament level. Do you think the work that's done at local level, council level, the real ins and outs of stuff that actually probably impacts people on a more regular basis, it doesn't really, I'm not expecting national news stations to cover it, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it gets the credit sometimes that it deserves.
It often doesn't. And local councils are much more of enablers as well as providers than they ever used to be. Enabling by contacts, by communication and by inspiration. I was at an event in the community centre in north of Borough yesterday, the Andover Community Centre, and it was put on by the council, and it was a sort of community impact thing, I think it was called. But it was, you had the NHS there, you had DWP there, and you also had the council's own Back into Work scheme, and you had the council's youth scheme, and so on there. And I was there for quite a long time. I met many people there, many of them really up against it, got very complex needs, and the council, because it had brought everybody together, was able to give them some real and practical help, but above all, give them some confidence. Because if you've an older person, not of retirement age, but say in your 50s and so on, unemployed, come out of COVID, living on your own, it's pretty grim.
Mm.
And so the council as an enabler, and during COVID, Islington had a brilliant relationship with the voluntary sector, which enabled us to get food banks and now food co-ops going. And so I often talk to parliamentary colleagues about their relationship with their local authority, and they always start off complaining, and they said, how's it with you? I said, well, I don't know what you're talking about. It's fine. If I need something, I ring up the council. Yeah. They don't always give me the answer I want, but they give me an answer.
It's just simple things. Even in Donegal, Troy, as you would know, I don't understand why our 5 elected representatives, our MPs, TDs, do not meet once a month or every 2 months with the local authority, and then they feed into them because it's they that are hearing directly from the people. And
I meet the council stuff, leader and chief executive very regularly, probably once a month.
And you see the benefits of it yourself. Yeah,
and I meet Troy as the mayor. Well, he's a friend as well, and I meet the local councillors all the time. And do I always get what I want out of the council? No. I mean, I recognise their financial problems. I recognise the stress they're under, but they do work with me, and I work with them on housing development and dealing with that, because that's the biggest issue. So for a council can make a very, very big difference, and support for community centres and community projects make a big difference. I just remember in about 82, you must remember this because I don't know how old you are, but I don't want to start guessing.
Well, I kind of want you. It's one of my favourite games. What year?
82.
No, I would have been very young.
You'd have been very young. Okay. Well, you would have heard of a woman called Margaret Thatcher, I expect.
Of course, yes. Well, we didn't come down with the last shower either. I mean, I would, even if I hadn't been born, I would hope I'd have some knowledge.
You'd have been told about it, yeah. Well, they had an idea that they would take away the vote of Irish people living in Britain. And so in retaliation, we formed the IBRG, Irish of Britain Representation Group. And we started meeting at Caxton House in Islington, near the Archway. and we got the campaign going, we got the petitions, the letters, the meetings and everything else, and lots of other people did the same in Brent and Camden and all over. And we defeated this nonsense, and Irish people obviously continue to have the special rights of movement between Britain and Ireland, which is how it should be. And we defeated that. But in defeating that, it also strengthened the community. And it strengthened that sense of community. And from that, we got a special Irish centre opened in the north of the borough called the Roger Casement Centre, which I used to go to a lot. And when I was over in Derry last month, I met people that used to go to and work at the Irish Centre. So it's a great community.
I believe you've been questioned or taken some interest on the mica issue that's affecting people in the
Indeed, we did an event at the Gunners Pub, another pub event.
You're walking into this, I am saying nothing.
And you're saying nothing, and I'm the non-drinker walking into all these pubs. But I was there with Troy on the mica issue because there are a lot of people here who either own a house in the west of Ireland or are supporting children or parents who own a house. And so it's a very real, and the mica issue is a very real issue for them. It's absolutely scandalous that somebody knowingly authorised the use of mica in building materials. It's caused houses to collapse, families to be made virtually homeless, if not completely homeless, or buildings just propped up with timber frames around them. It's a huge scandal. And the point that Troy and I were making was that ultimately it's the government of Ireland's responsibility for allowing this to happen, and it's got to be dealt with.
And asking the House Minister a couple of months ago, can he guarantee that this cannot be happening now? And the answer was no. So, that
says it all, because since mica is the equivalent in building terms of scandals of the high alumina cement scandal that happened in London and other parts of England in the 70s and 80s, when we had concrete rot in what were apparently robust and strong buildings. A house is something, it's more than just where you live. It's where you put yourself and your community and your home.
Finally and briefly, and it's horrible to use that as a preface to such an important issue, I know you've been speaking at a number of events as it relates to the awful situation we're seeing in Ukraine. What do you think the British government's response should be to what's happening there? Do you think what they are doing is enough? Is it too much? If you were the leader of the country, what would you be looking to achieve?
It's not enough. First of all, on the immediate humanitarian issue of the refugees, we are still not admitting enough refugees to this country from the Ukraine, but there's also something very unpleasant in that the Ukrainian refugees that are getting here, they're very, very welcome, and we're going to have plenty in Islington, I'm sure. They are having no Home Office problems in getting in. Yet a refugee from an equally war-torn country like Afghanistan or Yemen or Sudan or Eritrea can't get in. So there's an element there. Secondly...
Well, that's a very difficult one to process. Is that a conversation for now, though? Because I get what you're saying, and I've said that on my own radio programme, and even Boris Johnson going out to try and do a deal in Saudi Arabia. They're not very friendly to their neighbours. They just executed 81 people. You can be killed over there for simply being gay. But that's the alternative to doing a deal with Russia. It's very hard. There's so many contradictions. How do you even start? So should we be focusing, though, on saying, right, let's deal with this current issue, and then we can return and sort of say, right...
It would not be difficult for them to simply say, if we're admitting refugees, then we admit all refugees, irrespective of where they come from.
What is the criteria?
Exactly. The criteria should be you need a place of safety, not the colour of your skin. On the wider thing, the war is appalling. The actions of Russian forces are appalling. The actions of President Putin are appalling. We have to make all the demands we can for an urgent and immediate ceasefire, and there has to be some kind of long-term guaranteed security between Ukraine and Russia, and that's basically got to be done through the UN. I am disappointed at the lack of United Nations activity.
But even some of the language from the UN I've thought has been maybe beyond their the scope of what they should be saying. But anyway, okay, listen, thank you for your time.
It's a pleasure to be here.
And I'll
Thank
let you
for
go
coming.
continue your tour of pubs, which I'm sure we've held you back from.
Well, actually,
as a teetotal, by the way, I don't want to paint you in any...
It's UN Anti-Racist Day,
okay.
so I'm doing a speech in a rally in Parliament Square, and I'm also doing a live link-up to an equivalent rally in Berlin.
Fair play. Thank you so much then for sparing the time. It makes it even more than important. Troy, you're staying with us, of course. It is a special. We're broadcasting live here from London, and we'll be back with more on the programme. In fact, Daniel O'Donnell will be joining us after we take this break. Stay right way.
Broadcasting throughout the Northwest and across the world online on HighlandRadio.com. Your voice, your station.
At Centra, we have great offers for the long weekend, like Inspired by Centra Irish Angus Strip Loin Steak 450 gram, only €8. Buy one King or Tato selected 250 gram pack and one Club selected 1.75 litre for only €4. And until Sunday, Santa Rita 120 range, only €8 each. Centra, live every day. Enjoy cold sensibly.
Don't sleep in and miss the very latest beds and mattress offers from dfibeds.ie, Ireland's leading online bed and mattress retailer. You'll get a comfy Irish-made mattress, upholstered base and headboard from an amazing €229. Check out the full range at dfibeds.ie. Delivery free and guaranteed to you within 7 working days. DFI Beds. Sleep well, live well.
The Donegal senior ladies play Dublin this Saturday afternoon in the National League semi-final. Join us on Highland Radio for updates from Clonus as Donegal look to upset the defending league champions. Throw in from 1 p.m. Highlands coverage is in association with the Lagoon Bar and Restaurant in Termon.
For confirmation and First Communion, see the great selection of suits, casual wear and footwear at Watson Menswear, Letterkenny. Top brands, including 1880 Club, Lyle & Scott, Farah and Diesel. Also Tommy Bow footwear and all at great prices. Whatever the fit, whatever the style, confirmation and First Communions are covered. For less, at Watson Menswear. Open 7 days a week on Main Street, Letterkenny and at watsonmenswear.com. Also, great end of sale bargains still available.
Programme, right, we are going to cross back to Clonus because, of course, Donegal are taking on Dublin, struggling a wee bit. I think the last time we heard from Maureen O'Donnell. And firstly, Frank Craig, take it away, guys. Have things improved, I wonder?
Highlands coverage of the Donegal ladies in the National League in association with the Lagoon Bar and Restaurant Termon. The perfect place to eat and enjoy your special occasions. Call us today on 074 9139088 for more information.
Yeah, welcome back to Clonus here. We're just underway in the second half, and Dublin's Kate Sullivan has kicked a free to move her side within a point of Donegal. Donegal had started so well here in the first quarter, kicking with a huge breeze. They raced into a 5-1 advantage, and the second quarter they started in comfortable enough fashion, but a routine mistake. Shelley Toohey turning over possession inside her own 21, coming out with the ball, looked to move it on to a teammate, but Hannah Turrell telegraphed that their intention. She jumps, intercepts the ball and buries it past Roisin McCafferty. O'Sullivan then added a point soon after. That left it 1-2 to 5 points, tied the game up, but Donegal, to their credit, finished the half strongly. Katie Hearn sent the ball into Yvonne Boner, reverse over her shoulder, a brilliant hook of a score, pushed Donegal back in front, 6 points to 1-2, and then Jerry McLaughlin with a free just before half time, pushed Donegal 2 ahead at 7 points to 1-2. Dublin have got the first score of this here second half. Greg might have Daniel O'Donnell joining him in studio, but I have Maureen O'Donnell beside me here in the commentary position. Maureen, Donegal was so happy with so much of that first half, but a very routine error has cost them severely.
Yeah, listen, Frank, and that's the kind of thing that Donegal want to avoid this evening. You know, you're playing the, last year's All-Ireland runners-up, and they're a quality team out there at the moment. As I said, any mistakes, they are just, they're on Donegal's back, like, straight away. Like, Donegal have given a few frees away now, Frank, early on this half. There's only a point in the difference in the scores, and they have a tight breeze against them, so they want to settle down into this half. Donegal, or Dublin's going to look to penalise here now and try and get back in front.
Yeah, 4 minutes in here to the second half. Donegal scores in that first half. Instead, Karen Guthrie with 3 points, 2 frees and 1 from play. Geraldine McLaughlin with 3 frees and Yvonne Boner with 1 from play. 4 minutes in here now to the second half, and as you leave it, it's Donegal 7 points, Dublin 1-3.
Highlands coverage of the Donegal ladies in the National League is in association with the Lagoon Bar and Restaurant Termon. Call in today and sample our new bar menu with daily specials available. Now taking bookings for Mother's Day Sunday lunch. Call 074 9139088.
And you're very welcome back to the final segment of our special programme here, live from the Mayor's Parlour in Islington's council offices. It's part of a month-long celebration of Irish heritage. There's a ball tonight, there's a family day tomorrow. Goats Don't Shave are playing. I think they are, isn't it? I got that right, isn't it?
Yeah, and Goats Don't Shave and Keela.
And Keela, of course. And we are delighted to welcome into studio a man synonymous with Donegal and superbness. Is that a good enough introduction, Daniel?
That'll be fine, yes.
Did I over-egg it?
Superbness, that's great. Where we are, sure, superbness is the way to be.
Come here. You would have played a million times in London, wouldn't you?
Oh, God, we did, surely. Sure, we came over here. We played in all the halls. Well, not all the halls, but I played in the Hibernian with Margaret. I played in the Gresham, the Galtymore, the National, the Forum, or it became the Town and Country up in Nelly's, the Thatch, not far up the road in Holloway Road, and all of the great nights.
Can you imagine the buzz though if you're away from home and living over here for 4 or 5 years or 10 years or whatever, and the likes of yourself, Daniel, and other great Irish performers come and perform in your local? It just must have been the best thing ever.
Well, I suppose I was talking about that just here with some people. In those days, and I came nearly at the end of it, people were beginning to be able to travel more readily. But you must remember, when people came over here, they might get home once a year.
Yep.
Now you can go home for a weekend. Travel is more accessible to people. So the Irish dances was their meeting place. It was where people connected, and it was important. It was so important, and the atmosphere was tremendous.
It's amazing what you say. It's so easy to forget how it used to be, because I worked in Birmingham for a couple of years in my early 20s, and I came home once because you got on the bus.
Yeah.
And the bus across to Wales, the ferry, the bus up, and you thought, I'm not doing that again. So the next time I felt homesick, I just went straight home. I was only there for a couple of years. It was too much. And planes were... It was just completely beyond me.
It was out of your reach financially, anyway.
Right.
So I mean the dances. I mean, I can remember, the Gresham, Holloway Road. There was a stage, like a round stage, and the relief band would be on first, and then you would be in at the back. And the whole thing in the Gresham was that the music never stopped. That when the relief band was playing, going off, and the new band was playing, coming on. So there was two bands playing. One song was going away and the other song was going back.
Innovative
and
too.
It was brilliant.
Yeah.
It was just, the atmosphere, and the National too. I remember being in it on a St. Patrick's night, and the crowd, and of course the Galtymore. The Galtymore was just, it was, as Brendan Shine says, I met her in the Galtymore.
I don't
how
think
many people met at the dances.
I don't think you've lived until you heard him do that live.
Yeah,
though. It's just a brilliant piece of music, and you don't have to be a fan of that type of music to recognise this such. We watched the show on your live. It was brilliant. It's going back a while, but I don't think I've spoken to you since then. It was a great show. Were you happy with it?
I was. It was amazing, really, to get the like of that done. But it's lovely to have it too,
I think so.
And just to reflect on different things. I've been very fortunate, it's 41 years since I started with Margaret, and when you look back, sometimes you forget things. So I'm very lucky that they put together the show that documents.
But it also felt like, and it felt like your career so far. It didn't feel like the riding off into the sunset show. But because because you've got so much more. Right. Okay. What are you doing in London? I presume you didn't come just to see me.
Well, I'm here to attend this wonderful function tonight.
I didn't know if I could say that. That's why I wanted you to say.
Wonderful function, and I mean Troy is here beside me, but I just think it is such a great achievement, where Troy is to be here in Islington, the Lord Mayor. And I mean, he's from home at the end of the day. you know, and to have reached where he is, and like if you say I have more to do, he has an amazing amount to do.
But obviously he's impacted and touched so many
Do you
people's
know?
lives.
So I just think if you can call it a star, but his mission is only beginning.
100%.
And I mean, I'm delighted to be here to honour you, this evening.
I think that's a great way to finish, Troy.
I think so too.
You know, I mean, I can't listen to another person speak highly of you because I'm starting to feel inferior here, Pete. No, but it's all jokes aside. It's clear that what you're doing is there's something behind it. It's not about getting on the council and getting your term as mayor. There's something much more deeper there, and that's come across in all our conversations today and in Daniel's
well, you see,
words
the thing
as well.
about it is, no matter where you get to, in the history books, if you haven't done anything, you won't be remembered.
100%.
And I think that's what Troy is doing. Okay. And it's not where you got to, it's what you did on the journey.
Brilliant. Listen, Daniel, thank you. I look forward. Are you singing tonight, or are you just
Actually, you
enjoying
wouldn't
yourself?
know, sure. As Paddy says, you wouldn't know till after, and then it'd be too late.
That's as close as a yes you're ever going to get. Listen, thanks so much, Daniel. Thank you for having us over, Mayor Troy Gallagher. It's been lovely, and it's been nice to be part of it. It's been nice to see London. It's been lovely to meet all the people that think so highly of you and to get a feeling of what you've been doing between supporting the charities and everything else. And enjoy the rest of it.
Thanks a million.
I mean, no one can say you didn't make the most of your year as mayor. Is it 1 or 2 years? 1 year.
1 year only, for once in a lifetime.
No one can say you haven't made the most of it.
Thanks a million. And it's not about me. It's about everyone else. I want to say thank you to yourselves, to Daniel, Donegal County Council, to the Letterkenny lads, Sham, everyone who's made a contribution towards this. And that was the best thing about the programme. It wasn't the same for me. Everyone had a hand, and that's so at our best when we all come together to help out.
Okay, listen, thank you so very much. That is where we have to leave it on the programme. Thank you to Donald Kavanagh, by the way, who kept us on air and helped at base on a Saturday, and I genuinely appreciate that. Caroline, of course, who got the show together. Kevin.
Indeed.
I really feel like saying Kevin's got a free trip to London, but there's more to it than that, of course. Listen, Kevin, thank you very much as well.
Thanks, Kevin.
Indeed, and Fanula's been helping out today. Okay, that's it. Have a fantastic day. My apologies, I'm a little late going to the news, but sure, look, it's an important day. We'll chat to you on the show on Monday at 9. Have a great weekend.
The Weekend on Highland Radio with Expressway.ie. Plan, book